Peace, peace, peace. What is your brother Tyvon Sueno, aka the Orthodox More, wishing you all peace and blessings. Apologies, family. Apparently, there's some kind of snafu on YouTube and whatnot, because I put in the right time, and it was 3:15 for me when I started this joint. But apparently, people showed up a while ago thinking it was 3:15. So I don't know what was going on with that. Technical difficulties with YouTube and StreamYard ain't nothing to do with me, I promise. But with that, family, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to play one of Abu's videos. And whenever Abu does a 20-minute video, you know you need to watch it. But I'm going to give some commentary on Abu's video. Then I'm going to play a couple of clips from a conversation that Vocab had concerning the Palestinian protesters in Chicago, and get it in with the WFI Israelites out there, who started what, how it was started, all that kind of stuff. Some interesting commentary I'll give on that portion there, and then afterwards I'm gonna give some more commentary on some of the stuff that the WFI Israelites were saying while they were out there, and trying to correct some misinformation the best I can. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. And with that, family, look at me. I was already there. Bam. Take myself out the screen. Go on mute and y'all can see the whole thing.
Warning. This video contains imagery and audio which some may find disturbing or distressing, and thus which is not suitable for various settings. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Disclaimer. This video is emphatically not an endorsement of the actions shown here. This is only being shared for educational and informational purposes. Moreover, this video is not copyrighted or monetized. Anyone has my permission to freely download and re-upload my content and commentary. As for material derived from other sources, links are provided in the video description and fall under fair use. Greetings. Last Saturday, October 28th, 2023, the Yank photo account on Twitter posted a video which seemed to show pro-Palestinian protesters and Hebrew Israelites fighting on the periphery of a march in Chicago. And at one point, it sounded like the Israelites were yelling Kwam Yasharallah, which is a distinctly One West way of pronouncing a Hebrew phrase, which means rise, O Israel. It's actually equivalent to the Arabic Kum Ya Israel. Now, noting that Lashwan Kodash pronunciation, plus the fact that, honestly, the phenomenon of Hebrew Israelites getting into conflicts with people on the street is almost exclusively limited to One Westers, noting those factors, it seemed immediately clear that these were One West Israelites. And for those who don't know what that means, the Hebrew Israelite spectrum is incredibly diverse in terms of both doctrine and demeanor, in terms of how they interact with others. So those that you see behaving belligerently on the streets of major cities are part of a smaller subset within the larger Israelite spectrum. And that subset is known as One West, or it's sometimes colloquially called the camps. And I'll share a playlist of videos which are relevant to that subset in the description. Whatever the case, let's take a look at the video which was posted to Twitter last Saturday, and then let's discuss some of the background to what's seen there. This clip will run for slightly over a minute and a half, and fair use. Okay, so having seen that, the immediate question becomes what caused it, right? What's the story behind that unfortunate encounter? Now, one easy guess that one might immediately make is that as one Westers are typically rude to passersby, and with tensions running so high due to the conflict in Palestine, some at that protest might have not been so tolerant or not as tolerant as they'd usually be of crude taunts from a group that seems like a bunch of closeted proto Zionists, right? However, it turns out that the backstory is more detailed and more complex than that. And it stretches farther back into history than just last Saturday. It goes back months, maybe well over a year. You see, it turns out that the specific One West group involved with that in that brawl was called WFI, which stands for Watchmen for Israel. And one of their members tried to explain what happened the next day on Clubhouse. So I'm going to show a clip from that Clubhouse discussion in which you'll see me in the comment section trying to get them to clarify. And then one of the members gives his summary, right? And so this excerpt will run for about 6.5 minutes, and I hope you'll forgive the sloppy nature of it. But nonetheless, here we go.
I
Don't
know
even
it don't
entertain
fit
it, bro. So listen, let me
hands like
finish
the
though. Let me
spirit that
finish
you
though.
move
Let me
causing those
finish though, brother. Let me finish. Mute your mic, brother. What's up with you? Mute your mic. So listen,
you
it's
came
real
up here.
simple, man. It's real simple. So look, uh, hey, so I like I said, I've done prison ministry. Going to the when you're doing these things, I've been on the streets doing prison ministry. I've been in the drug and alcohol community. Whatever I needed to do, I went in that community, even though I didn't know nothing about the drug and alcohol. They also had street witnessing when it comes to basically like when the prostitutes is out there, they would go out there. They was on drugs, and you know, and give them stuff to eat and minister to them the gospel, man. The good news is tell them they don't got to be in the position that they in. So I've been in that stuff before, bro. It's just that I'm put in a position now to where I got tired of seeing people this need stuff, and I didn't have nothing to give them no money. So what I did is I took my butt and got me a career and got me a business. So now I can get up into the ministry of helps and giving. And the other brothers now they offer to that field of doing that. So what you was doing, I was doing that at 18 years old, brother, doing that type of stuff you're doing. 17. So I started at 17 doing it. And then got out, and then I was on my way to even go to Africa.
No, like
Hold
you
on, real quick before I forget, because there was this brother wanted to ask this question. He had asked it a while back, and I was trying to jump in. And this is about he's asking for clarity. So let me see if he's still in the room. Let me make sure he's still in the room. Yep, he's
before
still in the room.
before he
Uh,
do that, I don't want to forget my
it,
point.
'Cause he wanted to get clarity because there are people who are coming in who didn't hear you earlier. So this
Mm,
way you can give clarity. So he wanted to know about yesterday's brawl. So he says, just to be clear, the current speaker is saying pro-Palestinian protesters spit at him and threw fireworks. So he wanted to know if you could give the what happened, like what took place, because there are people who don't know you were there, so you can explain what happened.
all right, cool.
We
So
gonna go back through all of that again?
Hold on a
hold
second.
on.
Let him explain, man. Please. There are
I'm gonna
people.
make it quick. I'm gonna make it quick. Long story short, it's not nothing deep in that. A group of people that was around out there at the same time as Palestinian protesters. They was posting on Instagram live and all that stuff, saying what they're gonna do. They've been attacking brothers for the past 2 weeks. It's only 9 brothers out there in Chicago. Brothers call for unity, so they don't think that they can just keep attacking them. So brothers can be in more numbers, so brothers can be protected, so they can teach the gospel and feel comfortable teaching the gospel. Gospel, I agree with it's gospel or not, right? And they spat at brothers and they threw fireworks at brothers, and then they got their ass beat. That's what happened. And then it would last like 15 seconds. That was the end of that. They was threatening us. They said every time we see y'all, we gonna press y'all. Every time we see y'all, we gonna attack y'all. We WFI killers. We gonna kill y'all. We gonna do this, that, and the other. Cool. They attacked us first. Why in the literally in the middle while he teaching the sheep too. In the middle while he teaching the sheep, they throw fireworks and spit at a brother. And they threw three fireworks, so everybody ended up scattering already anyway. Because people up here thinking it's gunshots. And then when they see that one guy, the one that was talking emotion online, he threw that firework and then spat at a brother and then ran. Brothers got active. Like literally, that's it. And then they all had their crew out there and they all got their ass whipped. Like that's literally it. It's not we wasn't seeking no fights. We were literally in the middle of edifying the sheep. And then all hell happened to break loose because they did that. And then we end up having to wrap up camp early. You know.
Okay, so
It
the
was
just
brothers out there that was seeking to fight them.
hold on, Laurent, hold up, just to summarize.
Right.
So you guys were already out there. You weren't trying to look at the protesters. You were trying to get, like you said, the sheep who be around, who be out and about in the same areas.
Yeah.
One of the guys from your side was talking to one of the, when you say sheep, so people understand, someone who's so-called African American or Hispanic or Native American. You were
Yeah.
talking to that person, and then the dudes that were antagonizing y'all before that day, they had been saying this online prior to that day.
And
One of them
weeks
be
been
there.
attacked. Yeah.
Okay, and then they threw a firecracker or firecrackers at y'all, and one of them spit at y'all, and that's what set it off.
Exactly. Literally, the brother was literally in the middle of reading when all hell broke loose. That's what I'm saying. Like, we wasn't out there like, oh, y'all, fuck Allah. And you don't go, fuck you, no, fuck Allah. And then we just start banging, and they spit at us, and we start banging it out. Like, no. We were literally in the middle, brother, literally in the middle of reading the scripture to the sheep. And then they did that. And it's literally one of the things on video. You'll see.
It's all of 15 seconds. Then I imagine a whole bunch of people started causing a commotion. Then the police came. Then y'all had to pretty much break it up, right?
Yeah, the police broke it up. Nobody went to jail. Well, on our side, I don't know about them. But
And the police knew that you guys had a freedom of religious expression out there, so they didn't, that you didn't start it, they started it, and then they let y'all go.
They know
And
that WFI Chicago being every week. Like they know that already. But they just said they was like, to diffuse the situation, to restore peace. Can y'all just wrap it up? Because it's too many of them out here for us to tell them to move. So can y'all?
So they were asking in the chat, were the dudes Muslims?
Yeah, they said they're Muslims. Yeah.
Okay, they said they were Muslims. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
two
it was
hate
for
groups
sure.
attacked each other, basically.
No, it wasn't. We was attacking anybody. We was minding our
I'm just
business.
saying, yeah. I mean, two hate groups
No.
fighting with each
To
other.
be fair, they started it with them though, LeBron. To
No,
be
I'm just
fair,
saying, but I'm just saying two hate groups.
That's
Just
what
like
I'm saying.
the groups that got into
Okay.
the
You know
ISUPK
when
with
you go
with
out
IUIC.
into
I don't know what
when you go,
I'm calling a hate group. I don't know what group they claim or none of that. They just said they from Palestine and they Muslims, and they did that
Your
shit.
Ishmael brothers came out to get you with the sword.
I'm not about to attach them to nobody. I don't know them personally. Just like I said, I'm not about to attach them to the protesters. I'm not gonna say, oh,
Man,
we
you
got
got
attacked by the
going on, man.
you
Y'all
know,
was last week.
when you go.
Okay, so from that, one gets the impression that their side of the story, that WFI's side of the story, is that they were merely minding their business, just reading the Bible by themselves, and some people came out of nowhere and attacked them for practically no reason. However, there was also an allusion to someone taunting or even threatening them over social media, and this happening before Saturday. So there's definitely more of a backstory here. Well, as it turns out, there were rumors that long before Saturday, members of WFI had taunted a Muslim by disrespecting a copy of the Quran right in front of him and doing so as he pleaded with them not to do so. And the WFI Chicago channel actually has video of that, right? And that video is brazenly bragging in its title about the Quran getting stepped on. So we're going to take a look at an excerpt from that video, and we're going to pick it up at the 59-minute, 15-second mark. Now, this clip will run for a little less than a minute, but I ask that as you watch this, note how the footage abruptly jumps. There's a jump cut, as if something had been edited out. So with that in mind, here's the clip, and fair use.
Upon their mouth, their ears shall be cut.
James was not from Isaac.
They shall lick
He was a
the
white man
dust
that you I don't
like
like.
a serpent.
They shall what?
They shall lick the dust like a serpent.
What is this man
You
gonna
guys,
do?
they shall lick the dust like a serpent.
I'm on the dust.
They shall lick the dust like a serpent.
Hand that.
Look at this. I'm a slave, right? I am a slave. You know to who? To Allah. Oh my God. Oh my God. Don't do that.
Give me
Wow.
72 and 11.
Wow, you're doing do that again. Wow. Astaghfirullah.
Right.
Astaghfirullah. Wow. I'm sorry. Can I take Can I take the Quran from you? Can I take the Quran from you?
Back up.
Hold on. You do not treat my book that way. Please don't treat my book that way. Please don't treat my book that way. No, don't do that. Don't do that, man. Don't do that. Arrested for this. I don't want that.
We don't care.
You should care.
We don't care.
You should care. I care about
What are you not getting, Ishmael?
What I'm saying is this, right?
Okay, did you notice the jump? Did you notice the edit? Did you, as if like a portion had been taken out? I'll play it again, this time with the timestamp briefly on so you can see it jump.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that, man. Don't do that. Arrested for this. I don't want that.
We don't care.
So the WFI Chicago channel on YouTube edited something out of that encounter, right? They took something out of that video. But note that their camera was not the only camera out there. The Muslim who was out there pleading with them not to disrespect the book central to his faith also had a camera right there on his phone. And it turns out that he's the guy who runs the popular Way of Life SQ channel. And he posted his footage that same night. And I'll share a link to his video in the description. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at the footage which that gentleman captured. But before I play the video, permit me to again share that A, this falls under fair use, and B, or second, let me put up the disclaimer that, again, I am emphatically not endorsing the action seen in this video. Now, some might rightly note that it's not just one Westers who disrespect copies of the Quran. Rather, there have also been folks aligned with mainstream Christianity who have likewise done so. Now, that's worth mentioning because I myself am a Christian, so it's, you know, it's like a stones and glass houses kind of thing. So I want to fully acknowledge that, yes, there are also Christians who engage in this behavior. Personally, I would advise anyone, whether Christian or non-Christian, to not sink to such levels of antagonism, whether it be against Muslims or others, right? Try to have a general policy of treating people with respect. And I'm on record expressing appreciation for how the Smile to Jannah account responded to a Christian ripping a page out of a copy of the Quran. And I've also long noted that many modern American Christians maintain considerable respect for disbelieving Jews. And I would think that, at least in the interest of consistency, the same courtesy could be extended to our Muslim friends as well, you know, who are honestly closer to Christians in many ways. But with that, let's now take a look at Way of Life SQ's video of that Muslim man, the host of the channel himself, pleading with the WFI members to not disrespect his book. Some may find this distressing, so viewer discretion is advised and fair use.
Not do that. Do not step on the Quran. Please do not step on the Quran. Please, 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 please. I'll pay you for it. I'm sorry. Please don't step on the Quran. I'll pay it. Can I buy it from you? Please don't do that. I'll buy you Bible, so don't step on the Quran, my friend. Please don't.
This your Quran?
Please.
This your Quran?
Please.
This is what we do to the Quran.
Okay. No problem. Okay, alhamdulillah. I see it. Whoa. Please don't do that. Please don't do that to the Quran. I'm asking you, please. Please don't do that. This is going to go viral. Please don't treat my book that way. Please don't let them do that. That's the Quran they did that to. They did that to the Quran.
And so since that unfortunate event, there have apparently been a few Muslims who have been taunting WFI members on Instagram. And they may have also been the ones who were involved in that scuffle last Saturday. So now the question becomes, where does this go from here? My hope is that this won't get any worse. I honestly suspect that cooler heads in the local Muslim community are going to tell any young firebrands amongst them, you know, any young guys who are involved, to let it go, right? As honestly, they've got bigger issues than just these other young men on the street who are acting in a frankly foolish way. I mean, honestly, you know, as a bit of food for thought, one can imagine that if there is another scuffle and it's captured on video from multiple angles, the spectacle of Muslims, especially Muslims with Palestinian flags, assaulting African Americans wearing six-pointed stars, that can easily get twisted in popular media, especially quote-unquote conservative media, right? One can imagine some quote-unquote conservative TV show host, you know, spinning it as Palestinians attacking African American supporters of the state of Israel. And you can even imagine some talking head asking rhetorically something ridiculous like, where's BLM now, right? Where's Black Lives Matter when you need them, or something ridiculous like that. But likewise, the young men in WFI also need to stop antagonizing people on the street. And this isn't just me saying this. I am confident that there are plenty of older men in the larger Israelite spectrum who would advise them to not behave like that, right? This can be chalked up to how with youth often comes a lack of prudence. But if they keep pressing people in this way, life's learning curves can come a lot faster with considerably more difficulty than should have been the case. You know, I think most within the Israelite spectrum get that. But unfortunately, the One West stream has a rocky history on this question. You see, the founder of One West himself, Edward Meredith Bibbins, who's popularly known as Abba Bivens, he's long been purported to have been a firebrand himself, who sadly passed away due to injuries suffered in a fight with Muslims in New Jersey back in the early 70s. And aside from that, I remember another story which certain One Westers, old timers, have trafficked in. And that story posits that years later, maybe even decades after the death of Bibbins, there was a One West camp in Newark, New Jersey, and a local Muslim man who ran a nearby martial arts studio used to stand out on the sidewalk and listen to them, right? And as the story goes, some young member of that One West camp who was speaking got ahead of himself and declared that when God gives them the power, they're not only going to slay quote unquote Edomites, rather, they're also going to slay quote unquote Jakes who are into Islam. At that point, the Muslim martial artist who was quietly listening responded by asking this question: "What makes you think we're going to wait that long now that your intentions are clear?" And apparently, the man said it with such seriousness that it sent a shockwave through the camp, and older men quickly snatched that imprudent young man off of his speaking post. However, to be fair, perhaps it could be said that today a great many One Westers are less brazen and more disciplined, and thus they're less likely to engage in the sort of unfortunate behavior that we just saw. And so perhaps I should mention some of those groups, right, who won't behave like this. It's not the entire One West spectrum. Honestly, I think this could be said about more disciplined groups like GOCC, or which is known as a Gathering of Christ Church. So too, I think it could be said about the ICGJC, the Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ, and especially about IUIC, Israel United in Christ, which is perhaps currently the most disciplined of the One West groups. As for WFI, however, I'm guessing they've been influenced by either GMS or by other groups which descend from GMS. And that group, GMS, Great Millstone, is considerably less disciplined and considerably more belligerent. And unfortunately, some of the men who descend from them or are influenced by them behave in similar ways. And with that in mind, I'd like to close with a perhaps ironic note relevant to GMS. Admittedly, I'm not the first person to point this out. Rather, I recall others pointing this out in years past. But as I can't seem to find the old videos which made this point, I figured I'd just repeat what others before me have already noted. You see, back in 2008, there was a particularly infamous encounter between GMS and a group of women.
Let me tell you something. When you up under a woman or with women, it makes you.
Rastafari, brother, judgment.
And in that encounter, a long shouting match ensued between those three women, the GMS camp itself, and then their supporters, the audience out on the sidewalk. And within that group shouting match, the crowd started chanting something which I can't repeat here, but I'll post a link in the video description. And in the midst of all that chaos, Tahar offered an incredible observation about what sort of factors he thought might have been emboldening those women.
You know why she's doing that? You know why she's doing that? Because she knows the cops is right around the corner. That's right. She wouldn't do that in Afghanistan. That's why I came from.
So Tahar said that those women were acting like that because they knew that the cops were right around the corner. And then he declared that they wouldn't do that in Afghanistan. And honestly, that was an incredible test which Tahar was indirectly proposing there. And in the years after that, some started to contrast that declaration with the rather brazen stuff that GMS members and GMS affiliated camps would say about Islam. And, so there were people who were asking if GMS or those that they influence would do such things in Afghanistan, right? And, there was even a GMS affiliated camp in Atlanta called Abad Babal. Now, they're not with GMS anymore, but nonetheless, back in 2009, that group was literally standing behind the police while taunting and antagonizing a procession of Shi'i Muslims during Ashura that year, which is in December that year. Now, perhaps the lesson to be drawn from all these stories is that young men who are inspired by GMS or by groups like GMS today should not follow them down this path of needless belligerence, right? It's mostly public theater, but it still has the potential to cause problems that you don't need. And if you're a lower ranking member who's mixed up in this mess or some related mess, ask yourself if men above you are trying to fundraise off of drama which puts your safety at risk. Food for thought. But on that note, I'll close this video here. As always, I welcome any comments, questions, or criticisms. So feel free to share your thoughts, whether positive or negative, and God bless.
Shout out to Abu, as always, for his thoughtful commentary and slowing the conversation down. I really appreciate his nuanced take on the conversation, and many of the points he had to make. I echo a lot of those same points. I wish I had Abu's optimism. And when talking to Abu, that's something that I notice quite often, that I wish I had his optimism. Because I see this interaction that went on between the WFI Israelites and the Palestinian protesters or whatnot, or the pro-Palestinian protesters or whatnot. And I see a recipe that I think we're going to see over and over again until a cake gets baked in a bad way. What do I mean by that? One, something Tahar was just talking about. They wouldn't do that in Afghanistan, right? They know the cops are right around the corner. Something that I thought was amazing was the interaction between the Israelites and the police in the situation. Because they definitely knew, A, that there was certain room to play with, and B, when the cops told them to jump, they said how high, right? So the cops told them to get behind a barrier, they got behind a barrier or whatnot, right? They wasn't giving no qualms about it. But I want to agree with something Abu said, and I'm going to challenge something Abu said. So, and it's going to be the same point. So I agree with him that, like, on the Muslim side, there's going to be a lot of older heads in the mosques and whatnot saying, calm down, let this go, etc., 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 whatnot. However, something Abu is also extremely familiar with, or he should be at least, I assume he is the fact that there's a lot of these Salafi mosques that are havens for people that can float through and do certain things and whatnot, right? And kind of be untouched in society. And so while the average Muslim, I don't believe, is going to have negative interactions, like offensively, with the Israelites, like you saw the Muslim brother that you showed, Abu, literally trying to buy the Quran and the Bible off the people because he wasn't trying to see it on the ground desecrated. The Bible and the Quran. People need to understand that. My man was venerating both books, not just the Quran. He was like, no, please, let me get both off you. Get off the ground. Like, most Muslims are like that, and I'm really glad Abu showed that, because that really humanizes the thing and whatnot, right? Most people don't think about Muslims like that. Most Christians don't attach themselves to their book the same way that Muslim brother attached themselves to his book and whatnot, right? So you can really see and hear the sincerity in his voice. He's like, I'll pay you for it, my G. I'll pay you for it. Like, most people ain't finna run out into the street to go pick up a book. They're not gonna go run out into traffic to go pick up a book. My dude was ready to meet his maker over a book. He was ready to get ran over for a book. Those kind of people, I'm not worried about, because they adhere to what the Quran says and to what their elders in their mosque are going to tell them, the advice that Abu's talking about, right? And so they're not going to do something offensive. The Quran doesn't teach people to do things offensively. However, there are certain Muslims that interpret the oppression aspects in the Quran and in the Sunnah. For those who don't know what the Sunnah is, that would be the oral tradition attributed to Muhammad and a few other people that Sunni and Shia, like again, there's different sets of hadith, etc. The Sunnis have their hadith, the Shias have their hadith, etc. And they use those to interpret the Quran with. People like myself don't. I'm a Quranist. I don't use the hadith in any way, shape, or form, other than the previous scriptures, as the Quran indicates. But for the ones that use the Sunnah, there's a subsection from both sides to where you can find extremist views on certain things and whatnot, right? Because, excuse me, at the end of the day, this is all subjective. You got people reading other people's words and coming up with their own opinions and whatnot. And so some people interpret things like the Quran being desecrated like it was as oppression that you can fight back upon. There's certain things to where there's a term in these circles where someone will say their blood is halal, their blood is clean for me to take, right? Again, this isn't going to be the majority of sane Muslims out there. This is going, or the average Muslim out there. I'm talking about a subsect of people that have the ability to roam around freely, and people don't really recognize it. And so that's going to be a problem over time for them. And there's not going to be, like, you're going to see over and over again that the more that the WFI gets on, and other Israelite groups that do similar things get on social media airwaves, talking about the Quran, talking about Muhammad, talking about Islam, desecrating the Quran, etc., whatnot. No, you're going to see different people pull up or whatnot. And it's going to be the young heads that do it. This is going to be a young head thing on both sides. And there's going to be problems eventually with that. And I'm going to harp on the social media thing because this Israelite thing and this camp thing is largely a social media movement. And the majority of what they do on the streets, what they do on the streets is for two things: to make social media commercials with the videos and whatnot, to hopefully get a negative interaction with somebody, so they can turn it into views. And then maybe, you know what I'm saying, a group of 10 or 12 of them can go pick up like one or two stragglers in there and add to their camps and whatnot. So, but the majority of what they've done, if you've noticed over the years, is they use their street teaching to make, like, once they figured out you can get on YouTube with it, it was the older heads that were on YouTube that, like, again, the GMSs that were just on the street corners talking, right? And then there was the younger heads, like, for instance, like the Sakaris and whatnot, that came out of the GMSs and whatnot, right? That figured, they were like, no, homie, you're using this all wrong. You're using this all wrong. Now, I agree with the boo. Anybody who's 501c3, right? Any camp that's 501c3, you're not going to have to worry about, right? Anybody affiliated with some 501c3 mosques and whatnot, you're not going to have to worry about, right? These are people who are disciplined, trying to stay in line with the law, et cetera, whatnot, right? On either side, Muslims, you ain't got to worry about it. Israelites, ISBK, IUIC, so all them types, you're not going to have to worry about. But if you notice, there's a lot more camps popping up that don't have that kind of a concept. Like, they're more freestyle, they're more free for all, and they sound a little bit like everybody. Like, if you listen to the WFI, you can hear the Sakari, you can hear the IUIC, you can hear the different fingerprints of different people and whatnot, right? But you don't see them suited and booted and whatnot, right? They're moving a little bit different. They're more freestyle with it, right? The more lone wolf with it. You're going to see more camps like that. Like, they're not going to be 501c3 affiliated, right? Now, they're going to be less organized. And there's going to be a lot more younger heads in them kind of camps and whatnot, right? Doing stuff like you just saw happen in the video Abu showed, right? You got people stomping on the Quran, thrown out in the street and whatnot. Now, I'm about to show you a couple of videos from a conversation Vocab had, where Vocab is going to actually go back and go over some of the WFI footage that they recorded themselves about what they were saying after they got placed behind the barrier and whatnot, right? And I'm going to give two sets of commentary on it, but I want people to understand this. Like, camps like this, you do got to worry about starting stuff. 100%. Like I said, the 501c3 camps, nah, they know what it is. Like, look at IUIC, right? Fantastic example. They're stacking money. They're out here. They're a mega camp. They're a whole mega camp. They're not going to sacrifice that. They're making dough right now. Are they doing the best for the community? No. They're doing just like a mega church would do. Take money out, not put nothing back in. But are they going to sacrifice that? No, not for nothing. Not happening. These other camps that don't have that, these non-501c3 camps, oh, fam, they got nothing to lose. And you're going to be more likely to find the hot-headed cats amongst them, right? The more loose cannon types amongst them. The ones that are itching to see some retribution or what they think they're deserved from the Most High and whatnot. And they're all wrong in their confusion and racism and whatnot. But they're going to want to see something happen. Look at that footage, fam. They was all too ready to jump out there. All too ready to jump out there, fam. This is not going to be the last altercation we see over this stuff, fam. Not at all. Particularly because the Israelite Islam videos get views and whatnot. Like I'm saying, fam, this is like the social media indulgence on this one is going to lead to a bit more conflict. But I do want to largely agree with what Abu said. That for the most part, cooler heads are going to prevail. For the most part, there's going to be disciplined people out there trying to cool things down and whatnot. In the mosque, telling people not leave it alone. This is America. This is what they do. They're allowed to do that here via the law, and based upon the Quran, we have to uphold that concept. For the 501c3 Israelites, they know what it is. They're not trying to lose the wealth they're amassing off their social media movements, because that's all this is for them, right? I hate to break it to y'all, but that's all it is for them. Just like with the mega churches, it ain't nothing but a money move. Cats are trying to be mega camps. It ain't nothing but a money move here. And neither one are putting nothing back into the community. And those communities, and this is the whole point, those communities have hurt people, and hurt people react. Hurt people got stuff they got to get out their system. Hurt people got a lot of negative energy that's waiting to jump out. So that's why you really got to watch out for this. I definitely don't think this is going to be the last time I see this. I'm praying hard now that this kind of stuff gets squashed. But I got to be honest with you. My money is definitely on seeing some stuff like this pop off more and more and more. I'm hoping that you see the bigger camps like Abu's talking about come together and start doing some like literal like public relations stuff, to where they can actually start reaching out to the non-501c3 Israelite camps and whatnot, and try to be like, yeah, this needs to be done a certain kind of way. There's certain kind of smoke you don't want. Certain kind of smoke you don't want. But with that, I'm going to play something from Vocab. And I want to give credit where credit is due. I think that Vocab's getting a little bit older, and I think that experience is catching up with him a bit more. And I think that he's showing some growth here in terms of being a bit more sensitive to different groups he's talking with and whatnot. Because in the past he's caught a lot of guff for like his Islamicized me. Some would say mockumentaries or whatnot, right? But his style of talking to Muslims and whatnot, right? And he came out and he was actually I was in the chat there, and I have to admit, like, it was a very interesting and somber feeling in the chat because like everybody was appalled at what they were seeing. The Christians were very appalled at what they were seeing, at the desecration of the books, etc., whatnot. And they were appalled at like seeing how the dude was treated and how sincere he was and whatnot, right? And also some of the things that you're about to hear. I'm gonna play a quick clip from Vocab, then I'm gonna play a second clip. That second clip, if you got kids around, you don't want them to hear this stuff. It's about to get all kind of 18 plus in the building. But real quick, I'm gonna play this. I might play this clip twice. But yeah, gotta give credit where credit is due. Shout out to Vocab.
I'm going to show you a video because of Abu's research on this. You're going to find out the Hebrew Israelites have been antagonizing different Muslims in Chicago in pretty intense ways, going back more than a year. But this is fascinating. This is a time where I'm on the Muslim side. This guy is being humble. He's not causing a problem. He doesn't retaliate when they do get physical with him. I don't agree with his worship of the book in a way, his veneration of it in the way you're going to see. But who do you feel for more as far as ethical behavior when you watch this clip? Look, he's about to hit him. Look, see?
I'm sorry. Please don't step the Quran. I'll pay it. Can I buy it from you? Please don't do that. I'll buy you Bible, so don't step on the Quran, my friend. Please don't.
This your Quran?
Please.
This your Quran?
Please.
This is what we do to the Quran.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so he throws out into the street. So you would think that's kind of like the end of it. Now, look, I know people in the chat aren't fans of the Islamic religion. I understand that. But just ask yourself about what's happening in general, what's going on, okay? And remember what the WFI guy said on Clubhouse earlier. Put that on call text. I understand we shouldn't show veneration to a book. It's over. Okay. But just see what's happening. He throws the book into the street. Now, what's going to happen when he goes to get it? One of the guys runs out and pushes him and grabs it. You can't see it because he's holding the camera, but you'll be able to tell. Watch.
No problem. Okay, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, I see it. Whoa.
Give him my book. Now, notice how the book's in the cameraman's hands all of a sudden. Now, who's initiating this? Do you not see Hebrew Israelites of this sort as bullies? What else are they? They threw it. He said, this is your Quran. He throws it to the street. Now watch what happens. William Stevens, I don't have time for you tonight if you're going to defend this. I don't have time for you tonight. So maybe just don't comment. I don't have time for it. Don't defend bullies. That makes me think you're a bully.
Yeah, shout out to Vocab for that, and I really appreciate his last statement there. Like, don't defend the bully team. It makes me think you're a bully. I appreciate that he was talking about the fact that he equated the desecration of the Quran to antagonism. I 1,000,000% appreciate that. Because anybody who's seen the Christian apologetic circle for the past few years has seen to where like desecration of the Quran is a cool thing and whatnot, right? And so this is where I'm saying like there's some definite growth in the situation, and I appreciate Vocab for speaking on something like that, right? Because there was a time where he might not have. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I definitely think that Vocab is okay with certain levels of mocking to a degree, but I appreciate him drawing the line at desecration of certain things. That's much appreciation. Real quick, I'm going to share my screen and give an example as to why. So, for instance, we've seen David Wood over the years in multiple situations having desecrated the Quran. My man's ripped pages out of it just for ripping them out. He's eating them live on air. He's drilled holes into the Quran. He's been part of like they literally created the term Quranogamy for ripping pages out and making origami out of pages of the Quran and whatnot. And they have some what I would consider to be like just vile tutorials on how to do such, to where It's just super mocking of sincere people, like all the way through the thing, right? And to me, it's disgusting that religion and apologetics on all sides has gotten to the point to where it's just an us versus them thing. And if you're not with us, I'm allowed to do all kind of nasty stuff to you and say all kind of crazy stuff to you and dehumanize you and treat your stuff all kind of crazy. You know what you're never gonna see? Like, hold on. Abu had the comment. Hold on. Let me find this joint. And I should have played this video. Hold on. In that Smile to Jannah clip, in the tweet shown, the Muslim responded to a Christian tearing up a Quran by pretending he was going to tear up a Bible, but then saying, nah, mate, and kissing it instead. Again, that's an example like the brother in the video saying, no, he was trying to buy the Bible and the Quran off the people because they had it on the ground. He was like, nah, don't step on the Quran, but let me get that Bible too. Like, no, don't do that. Like you're not going to see this kind of stuff coming from a Muslim, right? That's why it's just it's a cold thing to do back to them or go to just to do to them, right? And I appreciate vocab for recognizing that this kind of stuff is antagonism. This kind of stuff is antagonism, and it's not needed. On the flip, right? So I appreciate how the Muslim brother in the video Boot showed and how in the Smile to Jannah clip he was talking about how they approach a situation to where my man says, let me buy it off you. Let me buy it off you, right? Now, if I go to the UK Speaker's Corner, whatnot, I mean, they got people like Khatun Tash out there who have these Qurans with the holes drilled in them out there waving around, talking about the narrative in the Quran has holes and whatnot, etc. Or the how we got the Qurans, the narrative how we got the Qurans, or the Sunni narrative of the Quran or whatever, like the has holes, etc. All the type of stuff, right? They're in free speech zones, right? Like, so Speaker's Corner, Hyde Park in the UK is just like that's like a small section of America in the UK, right? So where you can do free speech stuff there, right? Just like how on the streets here, unfortunately, I can have a Quran and rip it up and do all kind of stuff, right? Until the laws change otherwise, right? However, over there, you have more of these Muslims that I'm talking about, right? Literally everybody in Hyde Park that's a Muslim knows of somebody or directly knows somebody who's gone as a quote unquote freedom fighter somewhere, done a little tour right quick and came back to the UK, and they got whole systems for how they do it. Whole systems for how they do it. And this is why I'm bringing this up. And why Abu's saying the Salafi point is a good one. Years ago, I used to say GMS were the Wahhabi Salafis of KJV only. While also GMS are the Takfiris of One West, 100%. But the thing about this is, and even a vocab will agree to this because he's probably seen this in person and whatnot, in the sense to where in the Salafi mosque, like you find the Wahhabis and whatnot, you find a certain militant type group of peoples and whatnot that will go off and do the freedom finding and whatnot, and they can come. Here's the thing, fam. Like when the Boo's talking about discipline, fam, all they gotta do is look, walk, and talk the part and pray 5 times a day, and they blend in. You understand? Just get that through your head. The ones that don't mean good, all they gotta do is blend in, and it's not hard. Because a quiet Muslim is a real good Muslim, fam. A quiet one is a real good one, right? And in the UK, what happened to Atum? She got slashed up, fam. Punched, kicked, slashed up, all that type of stuff. Now, I don't agree with how she does her stuff, but at the same point in time, no one should be putting hands on her, and no one should definitely be trying to cut her. They was trying to kill her. They tried to kill her, fam. And just understand something. My G could have, like, it's not hard for, like, the whole situation is set up to where, like, if they want to, they can reach out and touch somebody and disappear. and be right. My G could have went around the corner in the block and y'all would and came right back and y'all would have known it was him. All he had to do was throw the person that was slashing that slashed the tuna. All he had to do was walk around the corner, throw on a throw in a kufi, and you would have known who he was. In a set of sunglasses, you would have known who he was. As soon as it's time for prayer, he goes and prays with everybody. Done. Disappear. Out. No, that's realistic and can happen and whatnot, right? Like, those are the type of people I'm talking about. I don't want to see the Hatun Tosh thing happen here. I don't want to see that in any way, shape, or form. So I definitely encourage Christians to take heed of what vocab's talking about and recognize stuff like this is antagonizing. And there's other ways. If you want to go preach the gospel to Muslims, holler at me. Trust me, I'll go show you how to use the Quran for that. Trust me. In airtight ways that they can't get around. But there's no need to do this thing. When you're doing this one is not about the gospel. This kind of thing here has nothing to do with the gospel. And it's just as vile as the stuff you're about to hear the WFI Israelites say. So I'm giving you the warning right now. Hold on real quick. Shout out to the super chat homies and whatnot. Yo bro says, I don't know if I could walk away from someone throwing the Quran on the floor. Keeping it real. I'll keep walking if it were the hadith though. I'm gonna keep it a buck, fam. Like I was telling somebody earlier. No, it would have been a problem. No, it would have been it would have like, so if I would have walked by and I saw that happen to the dude, like they threw the Quran out in the street and was hitting him, and I'm like, oh, trust me, I would have went to jail. Bro, I'd be in jail right now talking about how I beat somebody down with a Quran in my hand. What'd you do? I had a Quran in one hand, I had a Bible in the other hand, and I was making him clap on this dude's head. Oh snap! Yeah, then it would have been a bad day. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you, brother, man. But yeah, no, it would have been. Oh man. Oh, Abu saying he about to hit me up with the clip right quick. Man, shout out to Abu. Always trying to lace somebody up. Let me check out my Facebook right quick. You know what, Abu? I'm gonna look for that one and set it up for the end and whatnot, right? Because what I want to do is actually show this right now. So
One man of you shall chase 1,000. One man of you shall chase 1,000.
Put it again.
One man of you shall chase 1,000.
Read it again.
One man of you shall chase 1,000.
Read it again.
One man of you shall chase 1,000.
Read it again.
One man of you shall chase 1,000.
Read it again.
One man of you shall chase 1,000.
Read.
For the Lord your God, it is that fighter for you.
Straight like that, man. Hey, how about Shimei Shada won't fight for us, man? You see the Christians out here in the face of thousands telling them that they're going to get put to death, man. You see the other nations and these other religions doing the things that the prophets of the Lord do always and always, man. But we going to stand bold as a lion always, man.
That's right. Psalm 64, verse 4. Get the book of Psalms, chapter.
He's even saying, they're saying, oh, we're just out there to find the sheep. And he's talking about, we're out here telling the other nations are going to be put to death.
1 118 and verse 10.
Read it.
All nations compass me about.
What the Lord say?
All nations compass me about.
What's happening today before?
All nations compass me about.
Read.
But in the name of Yahweh.
But in the what?
But in the name of Yahweh.
But in the what?
But in the name of Yahweh.
Read.
Will I destroy them?
The Lord say.
Will I destroy them?
What's gonna happen?
Will I destroy them?
Read it again.
Will I destroy them?
Read.
They compass me about. Yeah, they compass me about. But in the name of Yahweh, I will destroy them.
Straight like that, man. That's what's coming to all the nations. Read us up.
Psalm 64, verse 4.
Read it. At the what?
At the perfect.
And we the perfect among these nations, man.
Right.
We perfect in the eyes of the Lord among
That's
these
right.
proud nations, man. They trying to shoot at us, man.
Right.
Whether that be with words, whether that be with fists, whether that be with objects, they trying to shoot at the promise of the Lord, but
Right. Suddenly, do they shoot at him and fear not.
And do what?
And fear not.
We not fearing a goddamn thing out here.
Right. They encourage themselves in an evil manner.
Hey, they encourage themselves. Hey, there go them niggas, man. There go them Hebrew Israelites, man. There go them again. Go spit on them, man. They encourage themselves and build themselves up in wickedness, man. But read.
They commune of laying snares privily.
Read.
They say, who shall see them?
Right.
They
Read
verse
on.
5, verse 6. They search for iniquity. They accomplish a diligent search.
They do what?
They accomplish a diligent search.
They try to come up with all type of different ways to come up against the servants of the Lord, man.
So, I mean, the cops, this is the time I've got to commend police officers. Did they not manage to separate them without exacerbating the situation and without, it seems like, hurting anybody? I mean, I'm not someone who gives cops the benefit of the doubt. And I don't know all the ins and outs of police work in every way. I admit that. But they did a good job for what I could see of the situation.
But every single one of them is going to always fail, read.
Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep.
Is what?
And the heart is deep.
Read.
But Yahweh shall shoot at them.
But what?
But Yahweh shall shoot at them.
But what?
But Yahweh shall shoot at them.
Read.
With an arrow.
Hey, the Lord is going to shoot at all the nations with an arrow.
Right.
The Lord is going to get up on them, man.
Right.
Hey, all we doing is waiting on the decree of our King, man. And once that happens, it's go time, man. It is what it is. And then that day, ain't no brother going to be able to bleed, man. Ain't no brother going to be able to get hit, man. We going to be as mighty men amongst our brothers, man.
That's right. Suddenly shall they be wounded.
Suddenly shall what?
Suddenly shall they be
And
wounded.
these other nations going to come to naught, man. Because that's the latter end of these nations. I would be mad if I was them too, man. If I knew my latter end was going to come to naught.
So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves.
They gonna fall upon themselves in that day, man. Why? Because they chose to come up against the servants of the Lord, man.
Right.
At any point in time, whether it's 2023 or whether it's 223 AD, CD, AB, whatever it is, man.
Not sure about those dates you just gave, though.
Right, bring out the book of Ezekiel chapter 14, 25 and 14. It's in death, destruction, turmoil, everything that you can imagine, man, is coming towards these other nations, man.
Right.
All our job is to do is keep the commandments and stay patient, man. That's why the Lord said this is the patience of the saints.
Right.
And it's beautiful, man. If you're not thinking in your mind it's beautiful to deal with this right here, man, you're doing the wrong profession right now.
Right.
This is what our forefathers went through, man.
Right.
The things that they had to deal with in the ancient world, man.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing to go through this in 2023.
That's right. Execute my vengeance upon them with fury.
Yeah, I called for one.
Yeah, in the bathroom. He in the bathroom right now. Right, read again.
Come, verse 17.
In the last days, man.
Execute great vengeance upon them with furious rebukes.
Is on the way. Once they get
And they shall know that I am the Lord when I shall lay
So they called for an ambulance,
my vengeance upon them.
Read. Right, so go to the, bring this up.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 9 and verse 13.
Read it
When
out.
I have bent Judah for me, fill the boat with Ephraim,
Read.
and raise up thy sons, O Zion,
Do what?
and raise up thy sons, and Yahweh.
In the peace with them, man. That's all over there, man.
That's right.
And they just wild men, being the wild men that they are upon the face of the earth.
right.
Still mad from over 4,000 years ago when they didn't receive a blessing from the Lord, man.
So he thinks he's an Israelite, and the real problem between him and the Ishmaelites is that they got their blessing.
Hey,
Come, it shall be an everlasting covenant.
It said it shall be an everlasting covenant, and guess what? That's going to be made with the children of Israel, man. The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. The true children of Israel, man. Read.
Come,
with them, and I will place them and multiply them. It will set my sanctuary in the midst of
all these other nations, man, especially the so-called white man, but these other nations not off the hook either. Somebody give me the book of Jeremiah 30 and 15. Read.
into the possession.
And to go in there and finish the damn job, man. Read.
Before thy people Israel.
This Jeremiah hold everything else. Get out.
Be execute judgment.
And guess what? That act is gonna get put on trial in that day, man. All that is gonna get put on trial, man. If these fools don't die from the famine, pestilence, death, the sword, guess what? They gonna die from Yahweh Shem.
That's right. And justice.
And what?
And justice.
But hold that. Give me the book of Isaiah chapter 60 and verse. Covenant, no, man, you're gonna be utterly wasted, man. Right. Disintegrated, and we're gonna make an entire burial ground and say these was what the dumbass Israelites came up against the children of Israel. Right. The sign, and you're gonna take your children there and say, see, these were the Israelites that came up against us. Right. These were the other nations that they think they can get with us, man. You understand? Right, keep reading on that.
God, Jeremiah 23 and
hey, that happened already. All praise to the Most High God for it. Who jaws is made of glass, man? Hell, land. That's right. Right, you got little babies over there dying, getting their heads chopped off.
Whoa. This must be the part that Orthodox Moore was talking about. I don't know how I missed this when I watched this. Okay, everyone, listen carefully to what he's about to say. Now, I know you're just coming in. I know this show. I'm watching a lot of video. I just think it's important for you to see a lot of the video that's in the context of the fight. This is after the brawl. I showed you before the brawl. I showed you things that had happened about how they explained it. I showed you different angles. There's a lot going on here. Now, this is afterwards. Listen carefully to what WFI Chicago says. Watchman for Israel, there in Chicago, Illinois. Listen carefully to what he says.
That's why they mad, because the Lord God is touching the land. That's right. Right, you got little babies over there dying, getting their heads chopped off.
We need to watch that part again. We need to watch that part again. They're speaking about what happened in Israel, and when he brings it up, they spontaneously erupt into clapping and then do all this. We need to watch that part again. Ready?
God is touching the land. That's right. Scared of no damn Israelites, man. Not at all. You understand? They can't do nothing with the servants of the Lord. Right. You understand? But we hope in that day, man. Right, bring this up.
Book of Zechariah. It's like it. Book of Amos, chapter 9, verse number 5. Bring it up! The Lord Yahweh of hosts is he that touches the land.
What?
Is he that touches the land.
Said, and the Lord God of hosts is he that touches the land, man.
Damn,
that's really why these Israelites is mad.
That's right.
That's why they mad, because the Lord God is touching the land.
That's right.
Right, you got little babies over there dying, getting their heads chopped off.
But I will send the fire on the walls last.
What the Lord say?
But I will send the fire on the wall of God. I will send the fire on the wall of God. I will send the fire on the wall of God. I will send the fire upon the wall of God. I will send the fire upon the wall of God. I will send the fire upon the wall of God.
One more time.
I will send the fire upon the wall of God. Which shall devour? It's like which shall devour the palaces thereof.
It said we shall devour the palaces thereof, man. And that's exactly what's going on over there, man. You got that whole land being turned into a goddamn parking lot, man. And all the praises to Yahweh Shem that was shot for it, man. Right, and we glory in that, man. You think they gave a damn when we had our babies getting fed to alligators? You think they gave a damn? You think they was marching in the streets for us? Man. Hell no, they wasn't. So all we gonna do is say, call Allah Yahweh Shem Yahweh. The Lord is with babies dying, man. thrown around. The Lord is with death and destruction. Give me that in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 15.
I'm not sure if you heard what he said there. I'm going to go back a little bit. He says the Lord is with certain acts. Listen carefully to what he says, okay?
And all praises to Yahweh Hashem that was shot for it, man. Right, and we glory in that, man. You think they gave a damn when we had our babies getting fed to alligators? You think they gave a damn? You think they was marching in the streets for us? Man. Hell no, they wasn't. So all we gonna do is say, call out Yahweh Hashem that was shot for it. The Lord is with babies dying, man. The Lord is with babies getting thrown around. The Lord is with death and destruction. Give me that in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 15 and start at verse 3, man.
Bring it out!
1 Samuel! Ezekiel chapter 9 and start at verse 3.
Chapter 15 and verse... Bring it out! 1 Samuel 15 and 3. Bring it out! Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all they have and spare them not.
Did what the Lord say?
And spare them not.
The Lord said, spare them not.
Right.
The Lord, many moons ago, said not to spare these people, man. Right. The Lord not showing mercy to the other nations. At all, man. The Lord said, and spare them not, man. Hey, that's all up. 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 About that weak ass guy.
They have and spare them not.
And do what?
And spare them not. But slay both man and woman.
The Lord said, slay both man and woman. Read.
Infant and suckling.
He said what?
Infant and suckling.
No, the children off limits.
Infant and suckling.
The Lord said, kill infant and suckling.
Right.
So the Lord is with that, man. And guess what? When the Lord come back, hey, we gonna be with it. Right, we gonna dash the kids against the stones, man. We gonna do those things, man. Right. I'm kind of jealous that the Israelites. Hey, I'm kind of jealous that Amalek over there getting it in early, man. Right. They getting it in early, man. Right. They doing their thing. They kind of throwing the babies around. Right. I'm kind of jealous, man. I watch it with envy, man.
That's right.
I want to do that, man.
That's right.
Yeah, babies with their head open, right? No limbs.
Burnt babies.
Right, burnt babies, man. Hey, I want to get in on that. Hey, I want to get on it right when the Lord is seen among us. Right, read.
Us and sheep.
Are you guys listening to this? Are you guys listening to this? Hold on, let me just... Orthodox War, how long does this go? You gotta tell me how long this goes, man. I miss some stuff.
Yeah. Real quick, I gotta read a Booze comment. Ironic note on that death to Allah bit. One West vocalizing the second letter in El Allah rather than is likely was partly to the parallel tri-state area Muslim reference to God as Allah. Like, yeah, that is hilarious. But yeah, I'm even gonna do it like this because I got to. So since most One Westers and whatnot and campers, you know what I'm saying, they rock with the Strongs and all that, you know what I'm saying. Let me just show you a couple things about how that works. But I'm really gonna talk to this bit here about just the violence that they're talking about, right? Like, one, like the baby deletion thing is just nuts, fam. And no, you don't wish you was over there doing that, right? Because if you did, like, you wouldn't be behind the barrier, bro. You'd be getting it in right now. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's all social media front for y'all. It's all a social media front for y'all. So how do I want to do this? You know what? I'm going to do this like this. So y'all can see this here. This is a verse I go to all day. It's for Muslims, Jews, Christians, all that kind of stuff when having this conversation. So first and foremost, let me get my little disclaimer on the joint. I'm going to be talking about Ishmael and the lineage thereof. I'm going to be talking a little bit about Arabic. I'm going to be talking about Bible prophecy real quick. In no way, shape, or form am I telling anyone they need to endorse the Quran or accept the Quran or anything of that sort. I'm going to bring a strictly biblical argument here. So that said, this is one of my favorite verses to go to, Psalm 18:31. For who is Elohim save Yahweh? Or who is our rock save our Elohim? This word here, and this again, so I like if you watch me do anything, something you'll see me do a lot is go into people's sources that they deal with. Let me make sure my sound is on all that. Okay. So here's this word for God here, the H433. I'll play it for y'all right quick.
Strong's H433. Eloah. Eloah.
You see here, it's probably the prolonged emphatic from H410, which is L. You see it here, Eloah, rarely shortened, etc. Probably prolonged emphatic from L, Aditi or the God. See H430, which is Elohim. Many verses where you can find it. What am I looking for? This is what I'm looking for, fam. So I want y'all to see this right here. I might just blow this up right quick. Too much. So your Strong's is going to tell you that this is cognate with the Arabic word Allah, meaning the same thing, the God. So Arab Jews, right? Arab Christians or whatnot, right? When they talk about God, right? You pick up an Arabic Bible right now that any Arabic Christian, so for instance, I believe that Vocab used to be affiliated with like an Arab Christian church of some sort, whatnot, right? I promise you, their Bibles and whatnot, the ones that were in Arabic, again, they're going to have this cognate there, Allah. Right there, Allah, all day. Of the true God. You heard? So you're going to see this all over the place in the text, right? Let's see where you're going to find it in the text. Oh, you got Moses using this term in Deuteronomy. Talking about this, they sacrificed unto devils and not to Eloah, but to Elohim they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, who your fathers feared not. Going at people for sacrificing to other than Eloah or Allah in Arabic. Let's go for a couple other, right? Job almost exclusively uses Eloah for God. Almost exclusively talks about Allah as God. I'm not even going to get into it, but it's some real, like, yeah, Job's a dope one for that one. And Job's the oldest one we got, yeah? Let me pull out one from Psalms right quick. So I just pulled this one out for you. Like, for who is God, save the Lord, right? For who is Eloah, save Yahweh. For who is our rock, save our Elohim, right? There's another one. Let me get into Proverbs. Hold on. So this is one of my favorite ones, right? Point out to people, point out to Muslims, Christians, Jews, etc. Right? Is particularly Christians and Muslims, because like I talk about, like, with Christians I talk about it from a certain situation, and from Muslims I talk about it from another, right? From a Muslim angle, I'm talking about it from the Son of God concept. From a Christian angle, I'm talking about, like, how, again, this Arabic cognate Allah can have interesting interplay throughout the text and whatnot, right? So Proverbs 30:4. Who hath ascended up into heaven or descended? Who hath gathered the wind in his fists? Who hath bound the waters in a garment? Who hath established all the ends of the earth? What is his name? And what is his son's name, if thou canst tell? And then it says in verse 5, every word of Eloah is pure. Every word of Allah is pure. He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him. So Allah has a son, right, in the text. Proverbs 30 says Allah has a son. If I read an Arabic Bible, this is going to tell me that Allah has a son. And then it's going to tell me that every word of Allah is pure. So I got a reference to the son of Allah and the word of Allah within just a couple of verses. This becomes a very interesting dialogue. A very interesting dialogue. But there's something that I'm going to leave this here. There's something else I want to jump on, because so I was hoping to make this short. I might make this a little bit longer than I wanted to. But this whole bit about like the Ishmaelites, like first and foremost, it's crazy to me that you're just making Palestinians Ishmaelites because they're Muslims. Like, that's just crazy to me. That's just crazy. Like, so you have Palestinian Christians, Muslims, Jews, all that type of stuff. And you'll see here when I do another show about genetics or whatnot, they actually share a lot of genetics with Israelis and whatnot, with modern day Jewry and whatnot, which is something common around the Islamic world. When people start taking DNA tests, they find out they're all kinds of Jewish and whatnot. I'll show a video here in a day or two breaking that one down. But on top of that, I'm going to leave that one to the side, right? There's this whole bit about, my man said there's nothing for the Ishmaelites except death, right? And this shows supreme ignorance of the text. And what's crazy about this is hold on, let me hold on. I want you to let me do this right quick. What's crazy about this to me is Hebrew Israelites stand on street corners screaming at the top of their lungs, preaching this end time philosophy and ideology about how the Most High is going to come back and empower them to basically have the world to be their slaves and whatnot, right? And that salvation is only for them, etc., etc., etc. All this kind of stuff, right? So eschatology is what they focus on. Like, that's what they're having people like look at, where this thing's going to end up. So you would assume they know a little bit about how that works out in the Old Testament. So let's see what they're saying about Ishmael and if that lines up. Let's see if that lines up. So we already see, and I'm going to zoom this out back a little bit. So most people are familiar with Genesis 17, with the Abrahamic covenant and the covenant of circumcision, all that type of stuff, right? For sake of time and brevity, I'm not going to read this whole thing. I'm just going to jump to certain portions. Well, you know what? Let me see. Let me get to the part I want to get to. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee, verse 7, and thy seed after thee in their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee and to thy seed after thee. So this is a covenant that God has given Abraham. I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee in their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee and to thy seed after thee. It does not make distinction here. It's his seed, period. For what? To be a God unto them. To be a God unto them. So this part of the Bible is saying that Ishmael's got the same God as Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and that he's part of a covenant of circumcision. He's circumcised before any other child of Abraham. Now, 100% agreed. He doesn't get the covenant that Sarah and Isaac all got you. Not even arguing that. What am I talking about? At bare minimum, right off rip, it says that they got the same God. At bare minimum, it says they got the same God. And at bare minimum, it says that Ishmael's under that same covenant of circumcision that the rest of the children of Abraham are under. That gives him access to the land, part of the land, of which you see he gets his own land divvied up to him, which ain't the West Bank and it ain't Gaza, fam. I hate to break it like to the WFI homies like that. That's not what the Bible says is their joint, fam. But nevertheless, they're part of the covenant and whatnot of circumcision. You can't get around that any way, shape, or form. Whether you're Christian, an Israelite, a Jew, a Muslim, like you can't get around this one. This is what the text says. And even a Muslim has to uphold this. They have to agree with this. This is part of the Torah and whatnot. Goes on to say, and I will give unto thee and thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger. Again, they get access just as well to the whole land of Canaan and whatnot. And again, you see now I'll get into that later in a whole other video. We're talking about like the land, the total land from the Nile to the Euphrates and whatnot, right? That's a big land. Abraham's seed should have no issue fitting there. Like his actual physical seed should have no issue fitting in that plot of land, fam. From the Nile to the Euphrates, that's a big chunk of land, fam. Everybody got enough room to spread out, do they think? And God said to Abraham, thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. This is my covenant which ye shall keep between me and you, and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised, and ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and that shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generations. He that is born in the house or bought with money of a stranger, which is not of thy seed. He that is born in thy house, and he that is bought with thy money must needs be circumcised, and my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. And the uncircumcised man shall a child whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He hath broken my covenant. And God said unto Abraham, as for Sarah thy wife, thou shalt not call her Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be. And I will bless her and give thee a son. Again, complete acknowledgement of this. So I'm going to read this. This is not the same thing. This is something extra outside of the covenant of circumcision, right? I will bless her and give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her. Then Abraham fell upon his face and laughed and said in his heart, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old, and shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear? And Abraham said unto God, oh, that Ishmael might live before thee. So obviously we see Abraham saying, how about we do this with Ishmael? He's already here. He's the firstborn, etc. All that, right? And God said, Sarah, thy wife, shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. No issue with that at all. And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him. So Ishmael's blessed. WFI, it says Ishmael's blessed. Hebrew Israelites, it says Ishmael is blessed. To the Christians that are on the us and them versus the Muslim, it says Ishmael is blessed. If you're going to make the Ishmael as a Muslim equivalency thing, right? Which I don't necessarily go for. But Ishmael's blessed. I have heard thee, behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year. So I'm gonna fast forward right quick, right? Because so we see that Ishmael's blessed, he becomes his own nation he has access to the land via the circumcision covenant. And there might be some saying, oh, well, he was circumcised the 8th day. Well, no, there was Abraham, fam. They were both circumcised after the 8th day. I hate to break it to you. So if Abraham got access to the land, Ishmael got the same access. But it says that God will be with them, like the seed that takes the circumcision and whatnot, right? Or that's marked with this covenant and whatnot, right? So we're going to go to Genesis 21, right? So this is where Ishmael and Hagar are out in the desert or whatnot. Abraham has to leave them there, etc. We're at that part of the story. And you know what? Let me just jump there. Let me just do it like this. And God said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad being Ishmael here, and because of thy bondwoman, and all that Sarah has said unto thee, hearken unto her voice, for in Isaac shall thy seed be called. And also of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is thy seed. So again, because he's Abraham's seed, Ishmael's being made into a nation, and he's getting respect from God or whatnot, right? He's part of the covenant of circumcision, etc., etc., etc. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread and a bottle of water, and gave it unto Hagar, putting on her shoulder and the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. And the water was spent in the bottle, and she cast the child under one of the shrubs. And she went and sat her down over against him a good way off. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit distracted, so I'm having it in the background right quick. As it were a bow shot, for she said, let me not see the death of the child. And she sat over against him and lifted up her voice and wept. And God heard the voice of the lad. And God heard the voice of the lad. This is Ishmael. And the angel of God called to Hagar out of heaven and said unto her, what aileth thee, Hagar? Fear not, for God hath heard the voice of the lad, where he is. Right? So God's hearing Ishmael crying out and sending the angel of the Lord to deal with Ishmael and Hagar, etc. Right? Arise, lift up the lad and hold him in thine hand, for I will make him a great nation. This is the third time it's being said he's going to be made into a great nation here, right? And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. And she went and filled the bottle with water and gave the lad drink. And God was with the lad, just like the covenant stipulates. And God was with the lad. And he grew and dwelt in the wilderness and became an archer. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt. WFI, here's what I need from you, fam. All the camp Israelites, all the BHIs, etc. Even the Christians that hate on the Muslims and whatnot. Here's what I need. I need you to show me a verse that says this was reversed, that God left Ishmael. I need that one from you. If you can't provide that verse, I'm gonna ask you to slow down and pump the brakes right quick. Particularly on that rhetoric you're talking about. That there's nothing for Ishmael but death. Oh, yeah, I know, sir. I know what verses you're gonna go to, and I'm not even tripping on that. I'm not even tripping on the verses you're gonna go to. But we just showed to where it says that he's gonna have 12 princes, 12 of them, right? Let me show you what it says about 2 of them. Real quick. Let me double check something right quick. Give me a second, fam. So let me show you what it says about 2, right? Keep this short and sweet, and I'm going to end it right after this. Go to Isaiah 42, and I'm going to go to Isaiah 60 right quick. So this is what I was talking about in terms of eschatology, end time prophecy in the Bible, and how Israelites understand it, how even Christians understand it, right? And how Muslims should even look at their thing, right? I definitely invite everyone to check this one out. A lot of Muslims come to these verses here to speak about, they believe that this is talking about Muhammad here in Isaiah 42. And a lot of people also believe that this is a messianic prophecy, right? So for the Israelites, 100%, you should be looking at this as a messianic prophecy, right? So I'm gonna read a bit of this, right? And I'm gonna stop at what it has to say about one of the sons of Ishmael, one of the first eldest two sons of Ishmael at that. It says, "Behold my servant whom I uphold, mine elect, in whom my soul delighteth. I have put my spirit upon him. He shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. He shall not cry nor lift up, nor cause his voice to be heard in the street. A bruised reed shall not break, and the smoking flax shall not quench. He shall bring forth judgment unto truth. He shall not fail nor be discouraged, till he have set judgment in the earth, and the isles shall wait for his law. Thus saith God the Lord, he that created the heavens and stretched them out, and he that spread forth the earth, and that which cometh out of it, he that giveth breath unto the people upon it, and the spirit to them that walketh therein. I, the Lord, have called thee in righteousness, and will hold thine hand, and will keep thee, and give thee for a covenant to the people, for a light of the Gentiles." This is one of the reasons why people why I'm shocked that the Israelites don't understand this concept, because again, we're talking about some eschatology when we're getting to a lot of the Gentile stuff here, right? To open the blind eyes, to bring out the prisoners from the prison, and them that sit in darkness out of the prisons, out of the prison house. I am the Lord, that is my name, and my glory will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. Sing unto the Lord a new song, and his praise from the end of the earth, right? So this is where people are like, you can make this a whole, like, this is part of like this whole thing. You can make a messianic covenant, right? But then this is part of this people can use this to point towards the new covenant, right? This sing unto the Lord a new song, right? This behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them, right? Sing unto the Lord a new song. Very, very, very much new covenant type speech and whatnot, right? New Testament type speech, etc., whatnot, right? And when we see this messianic figure coming in judgment, this is also how you know this is something talking about something in eschatology towards the end times, right? Because this is not something that happened during the time of Jesus. He did not bring it with a judgment like this, right? This is even an argument that Jews talk about, like one of the reasons why they wouldn't accept Jesus, right? However, this is why I'm talking about the end times concept, and why it's shocking to me that I'm hearing what I'm hearing, right? Sing unto the Lord a new song, and his praise from the end of the earth. Ye that go down to the sea, and all that is therein, the isles and the inhabitants thereof. Let the wilderness and the cities thereof lift up their voice. The villages that Kedar doth inhabit. Kedar, right? Hold on real quick, because I didn't take it to all the sons of Ishmael, so don't want you to take my word for it. Let's just click on the thing. Oh, you got no sound for me, homie?
Strong's H 6938. Kedar. Kedar.
And let you know that Kedar, right, or Kedar, right, I mean, dusky of the skin or the tent. You hear, see, this is the funny thing, right? Like, so you're gonna hear like the same Camp Israelites and One Westers and BHI talk about. They're gonna reference people being black, like the tents of Kedar or whatnot, right? They're gonna reference this concept. They're gonna talk about the sons of Ishmael when it benefits them or whatnot. But then they want to throw them in the trash heap, and this is where it gets kind of funny. Because it says here again, Kedar, a son of Ishmael. And if I go down, you'll see what it is. And these are the names of the sons of Ishmael by their names according to their generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, Nebaioth, and Kedar. I'm going to be talking about these first two sons. These first two sons. So where was I at? Let the wilderness and cities thereof lift up their voice, the villages that Kedar doth inhabit. Let the inhabitants of the rocks sing. Let them shout from the top of the mountains. Let them give glory unto the Lord and declare his praise in the islands. So in this messianic eschatological concept, you literally have part of the children of Ishmael, one of the first two sons, being part of this new song being sung. But this gets reiterated 100% in the same book by the same prophet. Let me see. Don't want to touch it. Yeah, let me just do that right quick. Let me just do this and go to Isaiah 60. So this is an interesting set of verses in Isaiah and whatnot, right? Isaiah is extremely important to eschatology. I don't hear Isaiah talked about nearly enough when it comes to eschatology. I hear people talking about Ezekiel and Dan and all that type of stuff in Revelation. Got you. But Isaiah spells a lot of stuff out that people really need to understand, that you need to intertwine with all the other stuff that's being talked about. I mean, you literally have Isaiah being quoted in the book of Revelation. So like you got to tie the threads together. You got to untie the knots and know how they're tied up and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? As my man Jude in the chat would say. So I'm going to read some stuff. I'm going to go down through a few verses right quick. Verse 1, arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. So again, this is where, again, I'm shocked about this because this part of the text, particularly in Isaiah, is talking about like how in other parts, like from the 40s on to here and whatnot, how the gathering of Israel happens and what happens with the nations that help them gather, etc., and the rebuilding of the walls and the temple and all that. And so it shocks me that this part is not being mentioned, and this is why it needs to be understood that when they're saying that all there is for the Ishmaelites is death, that's a 100% false statement, and you're about to find out why. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, the glory of thy Lord is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising. Lift up thine eyes round about, and see all they gather themselves together. They come to see, they come to thee. Thy son shall come from far, and thy daughter shall be nursed at thy side. Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. The multitude of camels shall cover thee, the dromedaries of Midian and Ephah. And they from Sheba shall come, and they shall bring gold and incense, and they shall show forth the praises of the Lord. All the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee. The rams of Nebaioth shall minister unto thee. They shall come up with acceptance on mine altar, and I will glorify the house of my Lord. Who are these that fly as a cloud, and as doves to their windows? I'm gonna stop right there. But no, you know what? Let me give a couple of verses right quick. Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from afar, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of the Lord thy God, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. And the sons of the stranger shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Now, this bit here about the kings ministering unto thee, I want you to go back to this part here where it talks about all the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee. The rams of Nebaioth shall minister unto thee. They shall come up with acceptance on mine altar, and I will glorify the house of my glory. This is a situation to where animals literally, in a figurative sense, when you go into the Hebrew here, they can literally mean groups of people and whatnot, right? And so this is where it needs to get pointed out. Like, so unless you believe that the rams are going to be talking, the rams of Nebaioth that shall minister unto thee, they shall come up with acceptance on mine altar, and I will glorify the house of my glory. Like, you need to understand that there's people, there's the people of Kedar, the people of Nebaioth are bringing sacrifices to the house of the Lord in this concept. They're part of this whole group of nations that are helping to restore the nation of Israel and rebuild the walls thereof. Take the Quran out, etc. I'm not even talking about that, right? We're just talking about the lineage of Ishmael in the text. In the text, you can't get around this. Isaiah 16:7 buries this whole concept of there is nothing but death for Ishmaelites. There's at least 2 sons out of the 12. 2 sons that are set apart to they're coming to have to make offerings and sacrifice to the Most High, and they're accepted. And they're accepted. Not only that, they come ministering to the children of Israel, etc. In this whole eschatological breakdown. And not only that, they're part of a group that helps to rebuild the walls of Israel. Does it say all 12 sons? No. And I'm not making that claim. Does the Bible say other stuff about Ishmaelites? 100%. But these 2 sons here, you get Kedar singing a new song. You get Nebaioth ministering, both coming to bring offerings and to rebuild the walls. Without Ishmael, and without his 2 sons, there is no Israelite eschatology. They're part of the whole thing, fam. You don't get to say that Israel gets gathered in the end times, but Ishmael doesn't play a part of it. Hate to break it to you. You're about to call God a liar when you do that. And I'm about to take a whole big step back and watch a lightning bolt come for you. You know what I'm saying? But with that, I am going to try to end this on. How long has this been going on? Probably a lot longer than I wanted it to. Yep, I'm running up on almost 2 hours. So real quick, I'll shout out to the hold on. Jubilee, shout out to you, bro, on the super chat. Appreciate you. He says, Jubilees 2013, these mingled, intermarried with each other, and the names were called Arabs and Ishmaelites. This is something I'm going to get into tomorrow and on another video, but I'm definitely going to be talking about the genetics of this thing. Because here's what's crazy about this, right? Is the majority of people that came off the slave ships, that these campers, one Westers, and everyone are trying to say everyone was an Israelite and whatnot. The majority of them were haplogroup E and subclades thereof and whatnot, right? Not all the same haplogroup, but haplogroup E. There's a lot of Palestinians that are haplogroup E, a lot of Jews that are haplogroup E, right? A lot of Arabs that are haplogroup E. That means that you have the same progenitor and whatnot, right? At one point, you go back, you share parentage if you go back far enough. So like there's a part of this that's crazy to me because like this is literally like you're talking about these people like they're not fam at that juncture, which is just nuts to me, just nuts. But appreciate the super chat, fam. Let me go through this right quick and see if I missed anything, and I'm gonna take this down. But bottom line is you can't get around the fact that the text itself puts Ishmael smack dab in the middle of Israelite eschatology in the book of Isaiah. There's no way around it, none whatsoever. Let's see here. Yeah. The biblical Aramaic Allah in Daniel is an exact equivalent to the Arabic Allah, especially if the latter is a contraction of al-Ilah, Both mean being ALH with a definite article. 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. That's why it's hilarious to me. Shout out to Rue, the resident rabbi. You know what I'm saying? And Tabay Abadan. Let me see what else I got here. Also, some Hebrew Israelites today claim medieval Iberian Sephardic Jews who regularly called God Allah when writing in Arabic. It's definitely corny. They're Arabs, a linguistic group, so they're Ishmael. Yup, one bro. Yeah, it's it's repugnant to say the least. Hold on. I actually was thinking of making a fun video on Galatians 5:3, noting that if Christian Zionists want to say converts to Judaism are natural branch Muslims, might ironically qualify as such. Bro, like I was literally thinking about doing the same thing, so please do it. I would love to see your take on it. I was literally I was literally thinking about doing the same thing, Phil. Let's see. And that's the last one. So with that, I'm gonna play that clip again from Vocab, and I'm gonna try to go grab this TikTok or Twitter video from Boo right quick. Let me find this, John.
I'm gonna show you a video because of Boo's research on this. You're gonna find out the Hebrew Israelites have been antagonizing different Muslims in Chicago in pretty intense ways, going back more than a year. But this is fascinating. This is a time where I'm on the Muslim side. This guy is being humble. He's not causing a problem. He doesn't retaliate when they do get physical with him. I don't agree with his worship of the book in a way, his veneration of it in the way you're going to see. But who do you feel for more as far as ethical behavior when you watch this clip? Look, he's about to hit him. Look, see?
I'm sorry. Please don't step the Quran. I'll pay it. Can I buy it from you? Please don't do that. I'll buy you Bible, so don't step on the Quran, my friend. Please don't.
This your Quran?
Please.
This your Quran?
Please.
This is what we do to the Quran.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so he throws out into the street. So you would think that's kind of like the end of it. Now, look, I know people in the chat aren't fans of the Islamic religion. I understand that. But just ask yourself about what's happening in general, what's going on, okay? And remember what the WFI guy said on Clubhouse earlier. Put that on call tech. I understand we shouldn't show veneration to a book. It's over. Okay. But just see what's happening. He throws the book into the street. Now, what's going to happen when he goes to get it? One of the guys runs out and pushes him and grabs it. You can't see it because he's holding the camera, but you'll be able to tell. Watch.
No problem. Okay, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, I see it. Whoa, yo.
Give him my book. Now, notice how the book's in the cameraman's hands all of a sudden. Now, who's initiating this? Do you not see Hebrew Israelites of this sort as bullies? What else are they? They threw it. He said, this is your Quran. He throws it to the street. Now watch what happens. William Stevens, I don't have time for you tonight if you're going to defend this. I don't have time for you tonight. So maybe just don't comment. I don't have time for it. Don't defend bullies. That makes me think you're a bully.
Yeah, shout out to Vocab for that one. So this is the Twitter video that Abu was talking about. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you, Abu. This is the Smile to Jonah video he was talking about. So I'm going to shut my trap and play this for 23 seconds.
Let me show you my response. I've got a Bible too. Yeah, let's go to the first chapter. You went to the first chapter. Genesis. Yeah, you ready now? You ready? Huh? Nah, man. Let me show you my response. I've got.
Yeah, that's what's up. I appreciate that. That's a great place to leave it. I'm also going to do this one. people have heard me play this quite a bit. Well, you know what? No, I'm gonna do that in another video. Let me see how I want to end this team right quick. Let me see what I want to roll out with. I'm gonna keep it simple and plain. Actually, I'm gonna take the banner off. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for your thoughts. Thank you for your commentary. Thank you for the super chats. All of that. Please stay tuned. This is gonna be a busy week for me. I'm gonna be going live at least 6 times this week. 3:15 p.m. from Monday through Friday, Pacific time, 6:15 p.m. Eastern time, and on Sunday, I believe I'm going live at 11:15 Pacific time, a.m. I might do a live on the Saturday. We'll see. It might be a 7-day week on this one, but again, shout out to everybody for coming through. Appreciate you for your time and your comments and whatnot. Peace and love.
An object at rest tends to remain at rest, and an object in motion tends to remain in motion with the same speed. Slow down. With the same speed. Slow down. With the same speed. Slow down. And in the same direction. Damn.